In the flashback, Ginny, armed with a golf club, makes her way through the forest, but she is surprised by a zombie man impaled on a broken tree branch, who seems to have recently died and turned. When Ginny steps back from the walker, Negan stabs him in the head with a knife, laying him on the ground. Negan is furious and tells Ginny that she needs to talk because he can't figure out if Ginny needs help if she doesn't yell at him. "All I've been doing for months is trying to find a safe place for you. And you stuck to me like crazy glue's damn glue. I turn away for half a second, and at that time you decide to go for a ride." Noticing the look of Jin's walker, Negan remembers that he tried to kill them the night before and guesses that they are not the only ones he angered. Taking the man's bag, Negan asks Ginny what she is doing here, and Ginny shows him that she has lost her dinosaur. Negan agrees to follow in their footsteps and find him. In the present, Ginny arrives on the banks of the Hudson River, where she finds two corpses, one of which is headless, surrounded by looted equipment, which suggests that they were killed for supplies. Ginny starts paddling down the river to Manhattan in a big yellow cooler, which is among the equipment. Hiding behind a car with Maggie, Negan, and Maya bangs two horns, trying to attract a nearby deer. When the deer approaches, Tommaso kills it with her modified claw hammer. In the store, Negan knocks on the bell, but this does not attract walkers. Negan notices Luther smearing himself with beeswax, but he refuses to give Negan even a little and works on cutting the deer into usable meat. Amaya studies the map of the city with Maggie and Tamas, and both tribesmen say that most of the streets are too dangerous because of walkers and Croat traps. Negan asks how long they have been doing this, and Amaya explains that they are native New Yorkers who had just become children when the global outbreak broke out. The first few weeks were the worst. It spread so fast. Through the subway, buildings, corpses rose from the ground, fell from the sky. We were all waiting for the army to appear. Hell, anyone. And when they finally showed up, we were so stupid that we thought they would come to save us. And we watched as they blew up bridges, tunnels, leaving us in this deadly trap. Tommaso adds that they were going a little bit, until a Croat appeared, who invited people to join him, offering protection and convenience. The Croat wants to ensure their safety in his paranoid version of kill or be killed. Maggie and Negan exchange glances, realizing that this is a perverted version of what Negan and the Saviors did. However, the tribe would never agree to such a deal, so the Croat now kills them, steals from them, kidnaps and tortures them to learn how to kill and steal even more. Only one of the tribesmen managed to get out alive, but it was just luck. Alarmed, Maggie goes to check the alley. Negan assures the apologetic Amaya that Maggie is tougher than she looks, and she looks tough as shit. Maggie takes a break to collect her thoughts and go outside. Elsewhere, Ginny gets to Manhattan and goes to the ruined city. From the window overlooking Madison Square Garden, which is surrounded by a huge herd, Tommaso informs Maggie and Negan that if you want to get into the Krat, you need to go through it. He brings flesh from all over the city. A car passes by, playing music and dragging more and more walkers towards the arena, the same one that Maggie, Negan and Jaina encountered on their first night in Manhattan. Luther says there is no exit inside the arena, and Maya rejects Maggie's idea of a sewer, because the army stuffed all the walkers they killed into it until they themselves died and turned into walkers, after which the sewer was sealed tightly. Negan remembers that one of the tribesmen got out of Alcatraz, which means that there is a way to get back. Tommaso turns out to be the one who managed to escape, and Amaya offers to show him to Maggie and Negan, but Luther refuses this idea, since it has already been rejected. Amaya recalls their recent losses, but Tommaso supports Luther, since there are even fewer of them than during the first vote, and Tommaso is not sure that he will be able to return there again. I have an old feeling of déjà vu. 15 years ago there was a guy from the south, appeared out of nowhere, very similar to this guy. Everyone flocked to him because he knew what they needed, what they wanted. Protection. Shelters. So he built a cool fortress. Formed an army of psychopaths. And he made people join in. And if they didn't join, he brought down the hammer on them. Soon people got tired of him, and they got together. And they decided it was time to return the hammer. And Maya and Tamaza are listening with interest, as is Maggie, who recognizes in this story Negan himself, the saviors in his defeat from Alexandria, Hilton, Kingdom and Oceanside. Tamaza asks what happened, and Maggie and Negan reply that the uprising has succeeded. After a while, Tamaza agrees to talk to the others, to Omai's delight and Luther's displeasure. As the group watches on, 3 cars, including a blood-spattered ambulance, enter the arena. The prisoner Armstrong is taken out of the ambulance. The Croat greets Pulley, who is led past where several Barazzis are loading the body into a tank filled with liquid. Handcuffed to the railing in Horvath's office, Pulley watches some of Horvath's men train near a large ring in the center of the arena. At the tribe's new base in an abandoned restaurant, Tamaza draws a map and explains that sometimes the door to the arena opened and the Croat offered him food or medicine in exchange for a story about the tribe, in particular about how many of them were left and where they were hiding. Tamaza knew that as soon as he spoke, he would be killed, so while the door was opening, let's say there was no more food and medicine, and Negan notices the scars on Tamaza's back. When Tamaza was a child, his grandfather said that he worked in a team that rebuilt Penn Station, and that although people believed that the old station no longer existed, Tamaza's grandfather knew the places where they left the frame hidden behind the walls. One night, when the Barazzis were cleaning Tama's cell of spilled blood, a walker got in there. Tamaza ran as fast as he could, found the frame, and followed the New York subway system to the exit. However, although the cells are located close, Negan knows that after Tama's escape, Horvath would have moved his prisoners, as that is exactly what Negan would have done. Maggie admits that Negan and Horvath know each other, they have known each other for a long time, and Negan knows how Horvath thinks. When they were friends, Negan shot him and shot off the Croat's ear. He can bait him. Lure him out of the arena. Then we'll make him tell me where my son is, and we'll kill him, Maggie says. And Maya agrees that the others should follow Barazzi so that the Croat can't chase Maggie, but Luther asks how Negan is going to lure the Croat after he shot off his ear. Negan points out that Horvath will most likely want revenge on him for this, and Maggie insists that it will work, but Luther doubts this, going so far as to abruptly tell Maggie that her son is already dead and he thinks she knows it. Negan interrupts the argument, and a frustrated Maggie leaves. Pearly Burris brings 2 plates of dinner, a bottle of wine to the luxurious cell and turns on the record player, after which he steps aside. A Croat enters the room and happily greets Pulley by turning on the heating lamp and light. Horvath invites Pulley to have dinner with him, assuring the marshal that it's not magic, I promise, only science. It was my profession. Alternative energy. So naturally, when I first arrived here, I couldn't help but ask myself what is the richest natural resource on this island. Death. The sewer is full of it. Corpses decompose and produce methane, and since intermolecular forces are weak, this gas can be compressed under pressure and turned into liquid fuel at normal temperature. Amazing, isn't it? What we have built here is a sanctuary. And we welcome everyone. The Croat hands Pulley the key to the handcuffs across the table and asks why he is here and who he brought with him. The Croat can't offer Pulley shelter until he ceases to pose a threat, because first of all in this world we must remain safe. Suddenly, the Croat discovers that the meat on his dish is rotten and there are maggots inside it, and pushes himself away from the table. The Croat is concerned because all kinds of bacteria can be found in rotten meat and without the treatment that humanity once had, it can be deadly. The Croat demands to know why Burris serves him rotten meat, and then interrupts his explanation and forces him to swallow the key to the handcuffs. The Croat violently hits Burris with his head and neck several times into the railing, breaks his neck, kills him, and then throws him over the edge to the floor of the arena and leaves. At the tribal base, Maggie examines a box with old photos of her family, Otis and Patricia, a photo of herself and baby Herschel, an old clock and a drawing of Glenn. Negan approaches her and offers her a Yankee hat that he found for Herschel, remembering that Herschel once wore a very similar one. Noticing how upset she is, Negan reassures Maggie that Luther is wrong and her plan will work, offering to talk about it or listen if Maggie needs someone to talk to. When the Croat appeared at our gate, I told Herschel to climb into the root cellar. And he went and grabbed a shovel and a brick, as if it could do something. There weren't many people in this world who meant anything to me, but there were enough of them. And all that's left of them is in this box, Maggie admits with tears in her eyes. In turn, Negan emotionally tells sympathetic Maggie that a few years ago Joshua, Annie, and I lived in a small hut near New Babylon. One day Annie decided to go to the city to do some trading. When she was not at home at dusk, I realized that something had gone wrong. I went to look for her, found her. She was robbed, beaten, and begged me not to do anything stupid, but, damn it, you know me. I found them. All 5 of them, in some shitty drinking establishment. To be honest, I don't even think I wanted to kill them. After that, we were on the run, and it was very hard for Annie. So I put them on a train to Missouri and said I would follow them. I stayed. I think about them every day. I hope to God that they are all right, and maybe I have no right to hope for that. I don't know, Maggie. I mean, what else do we have besides hope? Joking that she thinks Negan knows how to shut up, Maggie accepts his gift of a hat for Herschel. Ginny runs through the streets of Manhattan teeming with walkers, having close contacts with 2 different walkers. In the process, Ginny drops her dinosaur toy and a trapped walker reaches out to her. In a flashback, an annoyed Negan tells Ginny that they can't keep looking for the dinosaur toy they've been doing all day. Negan has to find the best place for a young girl, and she has to talk. Negan wants Ginny to answer him when he calls her and let Negan know when she's in trouble. Ginny just shakes her head when Negan asks if she's listening to him, which angers Negan, who tells the girl that if before she could go to a doctor who would help her get through all the terrible shit Ginny went through, now it's gone. So Ginny will have to skip everything that needs to be done and move on to how to stay alive. Realizing that he was too harsh when he saw Ginny crying, Negan admits that the problem is that they don't have any leads, or maybe they are around them, and Negan and Ginny just don't see them. In the present tense, the scavenger puts down the walker and picks up Ginny's toy before moving on. Ginny quickly starts following the woman. The tribe sits down to dinner, performing a ritual of laying various items, including Esther's necklace, items belonging to lost loved ones, and singing as a sign of remembrance. After a while, Maggie picks up Glenn's drawing and joins the ritual. In the arena, the cheering crowd chants "Home to him" or "We are home" in Croatian, and the Croat announces that they are celebrating Buras, who was killed by Negan, because death is not the end, but rather it is their fuel, because people are a resource. Cheering, some of the crowd accept the methane coming from the corpse, and Horvath forces Pulley to take the methane too before pushing him into the ring. The disoriented Pulley is chained to a pole in the ring, and the zombified Buras, whom the Croat killed earlier, with his head tilted at an angle due to a broken neck, is stuffed together with him. After dodging the walker several times, Pulley manages to grab him from behind, wrap the handcuff chains around the walker's throat and, pinning the walker to a post, drive the chain into his neck hard enough to decapitate a man. The disappointed crowd throws the bottles into the ring. Pulley grabs the broken one and uses it to cut the walker's stomach and get the key from the handcuffs, freeing himself. 2 more walkers are shoved into the ring along with Pulley, who is looking for a way out. Not finding him, Pulley takes off his right shoe after hesitating over the left and with it hits the walkers in the face, hitting the Croat. At the restaurant, Tommaso approaches Maggie and confesses that he is scared. Tommaso doesn't understand how Maggie manages to control herself, especially with a child. And Maya, she says it won't be safe in the city with a child. Maggie admits that Amaya is right, that it's not safe, but we need to make it safe somehow, and she does everything that is necessary. Amaya brings a scavenger, whom Tommaso joyfully welcomes. When the woman pulls out her finds, Maggie is shocked to notice Ginny's dinosaur toy among them. She tells the woman that she knows a little girl who loves such toys and the woman gives her to Maggie. In Pulley's cell, Horvath congratulates Pulley on the best show this place has seen in recent years, and offers Marshall a towel to clean himself up. Although the Croat claims that he does not like such barbarism, it had to be done. When the world became unstable, my family and I took refuge in the post office. We were starving, and I went to look for food. When I came back, I immediately smelled it. My family, my wife Mia, my daughters Nika and Hannah and my son Philip became food for another starving family. And I was too upset to even think about suicide. By the time it would have occurred to me, I had already found the person who became my new family and taught me how to protect what matters, which makes me wonder what exactly you are protecting in this boot. One of the Buras puts the blade to Pearlie's neck, while the other takes off his boot. Inside, Horvath finds an envelope with Joel's address and reads Joel's letter to his emotional brother, in which he begs Pearlie for help after everyone changed his phone numbers. Pearlie tearfully begs the Croat to stop, admitting that it's only him, since two of Pearlie's partners are dead. Pearlie says that they came to Manhattan to bring home a wanted man named Negan. Horvath is shocked to learn that Negan is in Manhattan. In the kitchen of the restaurant, Negan goes through various pots, pans and utensils, and then takes a cheese grater. Luther approaches Negan and explains that he was looking for a weapon that could be taken the next day. Negan knows Luther doesn't like him, but Luther just needs to know that they're on the same side and this plan will work. However, Luther tells Negan that he and Maggie are leaving here tonight, and takes out a wanted poster of Negan, finding it among Negan's belongings, where Negan kept it after he received the poster from Maggie at the motel. Since Negan has people depending on him, he refuses Luther's demand to leave. Stating that people depend on him, Luther also refuses to back down. A fight ensues between them. Luther almost crushes Negan with a bear hug, after which Negan runs a cheese grater over his forehead. Releasing Negan, Luther steps back, stumbles and accidentally hits the back of his head on the pipe. Kneeling, Negan pushes Luther's head into the pipe and kills him. In the flashback, Negan realizes that the toy was stolen by the man who attacked them, finds it in the man's bag and returns it to Ginny, wrapping the hole in the toys with a bandage. Negan teaches Ginny the whistle that his wife Lucille used when she was sick and couldn't get out of bed, and which brought Negan to his senses, no matter what he did and wherever he was. After Ginny has learned to whistle, Negan promises that if she does it when he is not around, Negan will come. Negan and Ginny hug each other. In the present, which Ginny is secretly watching, Maggie prepares to burn a dinosaur toy in an old trash barrel while Negan moves away from Luther's body. However, looking at the burning match, Maggie doubts whether to do it, and hesitantly holds the match. The end of the third series. As soon as this video gets 1,000 likes and 100 comments, I will release a sequel.